coming up.
We're going to try to install a hose from the bottom of the holding tank to the suction port, or whatever you want to call it.
I was thinking, Sam, I would replace this impeller. Putting the impeller directly on the shaft and then putting it in. That was the ticket!
We have cut the tube, and now we just need to attach the tube.
Sam is just pipe doping the threads.
I don't think it's actually that necessary on plastic pipe.
So this morning we're doing a little bit of an unboxing. So what we're going to be working on today, and Sam's actually coming out to help with this, is we're going to be replacing the sanitation hose that leads from the bottom of the holding tank up to the deck where you attach the nozzle to get your boat pumped out. So we have two things that I ordered just this past week. So this is sanitation hose, and this is what we're going to be replacing. And that should be more than enough. Then we have one more box. From Defender, which has the most amazing customer service ever, by the way. I ordered this, and they originally said it was going to take about a week to get here, and I was like, ah, man, I really need this by Friday. And they said, oh, it's really going to take a week. Then after getting back on the phone with them a couple times, they were actually able to get it out to me in about 3 days, which is just really amazing. And the customer support staff, Jack, for some reason, if you're watching this, I really appreciate your help with this, because what this is, all these things are always taped so well. But what this is more hose. But this hose is different. This hose is for our air conditioning unit. When we took out the old sanitation hose, in order to get access to that, we had to pull out our air conditioning unit. And in order to pull out our air conditioning unit, we actually had to cut some hose. So we had to go ahead and buy some more. So I'll just give you the highlights of this repair before Sam gets here. Again, this is our new hose. This is a Shield hose. It has a lifetime warranty for manufacturer defects. Where this hose lives in the boat is forward, in the bow there. Okay, so now we're in the bow of the boat. This is the forward berth. It's a quarter berth. Right underneath here is where our air conditioner usually lives. And we're replacing that hose that you see there. That hose leads from the bottom of our holding tank, which is just below there, up to the deck. And you can kind of see the hose that's leading up to the deck just on the starboard side or the right side of the boat there. Okay, Sam just said he's here. I'm gonna go get him, and then we're gonna get started on this project.
Cold in there?
A little bit. Do you have something else you can throw on?
Oh, sure. But I've got a heat gun, so that should work.
Costco.
It's like $50 maybe for 200 footers, 12 gauge.
So they're not gonna like disintegrate with the heat gun?
Yeah. Start unscrewing that stuff.
Sure, I can do that.
Don't lose my little white cords.
Little white cords.
String.
prop is the universal hanger, and you're working underneath the boat. We're going yellow cord first. Okay. Looking good. We're live. You want to explain to the camera what you're going to do, Sam?
We're going to try to install a hose from the bottom of the holding tank to the suction port, or whatever you want to call it. And that's it. See you in 3 hours.
I was thinking, Sam, I would replace this impeller.
Oh, that's fun.
Do you remember doing that?
Just keep track of all the screws.
Okay, so while Sam does whatever he just said up front, I'm going to do another important task for the boat, replacing the impeller. This is a job that should really be done before the boat goes in the water and it starts up for the first time, because if these things break, they're most likely to break after they've been sitting dry.
When they break.
When they break. But they're most likely to break if they're old and they've been dried out all winter before the water actually gets sucked up into what's essentially a pump. This runs dry for a second, and that's when these break. When I'm saying these break, what can happen is these little paddles will break off and they'll go into the cooling system. Most of the time it's fine, but sometimes what can happen is those little paddles get stuck and they actually block the flow of water through the engine. Then you get an overheat problem, and then it's a whole nother kind of project. So it's best just to replace this on a regular basis, and that's what we're going to do now. This is the engine. This is a diesel engine, which is awesome. A lot of Catalina 27s actually have a gas engine called an Atomic 4. This engine is called an M3-20, right, Sam? Yeah. And where the M3-20 impeller lives is right here. So this project starts by unscrewing screws. That's probably what Sam's doing back there too.
Cutting stuff.
Okay.
Everything's well unscrewed.
Okay, step one, we got the cap off. Progress. The other great news is all of the paddles are on this impeller, which means that first, we're not replacing it too late. Second, we're not going to have an insane engine overheat problem. At least from the... What?
Again.
Yeah, that happened the first year. I'll show you what this looks like. That is our impeller. And you can see it's beautifully wedged in there. And now it's time for it to come out. When I did this job for the first time, my uncle, who's a circumnavigator, kind of chuckled at it because he said they can be a real pain to get out and a real pain to put in. But to me, that also just kind of sounds like everything on a boat. Oh, that's not bad at all. Dude, easy.
Preventative maintenance is great, isn't it?
Oh man, preventative maintenance is amazing. And it really is. All of the paddles are here, man. Like, I swear, when it came time to do this project, I was sure that some of the paddles would be missing, just because that's been the luck with the boat. Now we put screws, special plastic container, so we don't lose them, and then have to find a part
Special unlabeled plastic container.
yeah, special unlabeled plastic container. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. That sound you're hearing in the background is a heat gun, which Sam is using to make the hose bigger so it will slip on and off the different nipples. And now what I'm doing is, this is just a paper gasket. This is the old paper gasket that we put on 2 years ago, and I'm just replacing it by putting it on top of here, like that. And what this does is it seals this lid to the rest of the water pump. Now what I have to do is put this new impeller, old impeller, new impeller. Put the new impeller in the water pump housing. So Sam just brought up a good point, or I thought about it, and Sam came up with a solution. That when these impellers start for the first time, since they're not wet, they're starting dry. And it helps just to have a little bit of lubricant on them for that initial start, which we will use some dish soap for. Doing this will also help it slide in a little bit better. These things do not like to go in. So Sam has just pulled out the manual for the engine. He let me borrow the headlamp, but I'm still having trouble, so I guess when in doubt, read the instructions. I bet there's a key on the inside of the shaft too. You know what I mean? Is that what it looks like?
Yeah. Here's your shaft there, and at the end it looks like it has like a little notch cut in it.
Yeah.
And that notch interfaces with this little pin that goes into the side. So you should be fine to just pull that out. Yes.
So this
It
is
might
the
not
shaft
make you any easier.
that I'm trying to get this thing on. So I'm going to try putting the impeller directly on the shaft and then putting it in. That was the ticket!
Well, pulling it out.
Yeah. So now I'm going to put this whole thing back in the water pump. Yeah. Alright, so impeller is back in place. So then we just turn the crankshaft to make sure that the actual pin that attaches to the shaft, which spins the impeller, actually spins it, because we wanted to make sure everything was in place. And it does, so this is installed correctly. Yay. Now all I have to do is screw the screws back in, so the water pump is all back together with the gasket. The boat should be ready to start. Impeller job done.
We have cut the tube, and now we just need to attach the tube.
Sam is just pipe doping the threads.
I don't think it's actually that necessary on plastic pipe, but better safe than sorry. Yeah, I dare water to go through there even without the clamps on it.
So you finished?
Yeah, so after finagling the hose onto the hose connector down there and the hose connector up top.
Gotta get the hose connector down there. Yeah.
Yes. We put the hose clamps on, got those all tight. Same on this end. And that's really about it. The thing that goes from the holding tank to the tube.
Yeah.
I was expecting that to have a bunch of barbs on it, but it was just a smooth piece of pipe.
With pipe clamps.
Yeah, with pipe clamps. So it just came right out once I started twisting.
Sam, you want to do the YouTube thing for today?
We already did.
You gotta say like, subscribe, share all that
Oh
stuff.
shit. I don't feel like it. Go outside today. Enjoy the sun, enjoy the summer. Tune in next time.
All right, guys, that's all for this week. We'll see you next time. He said the rest.